I'll probably get this done because
Okay.
they pulled 620.
The enterprise bill?
Yeah, I'll probably get this done.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's do this one. Well, good afternoon. It's a meeting of the Motor Vehicles Committee, and we have 5 bills on the agenda today, and probably the announcement that some of you are waiting for is that the author of House Bill 620 has pulled the bill and will not be hearing that bill today. Now, just to those of you who are associated with that particular issue, they've done it with the understanding that there'll be kind of a reconciliation meeting between the parties that are concerned over the course of the summer, and that you can work towards a solution that you could bring back to this committee if that's the way it should be implemented next year. And that's what I've encouraged them to do, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. So if you're here on 620, you've really got nothing to do at this point in time except have a good afternoon. Goodbye to all of you here, and all right. Okay. Yeah, cleared the room. Well, okay. And I think you're looking at the person who's going to do the bills, to tell you the truth, at this point in time. We have the only other bill on here that's not a plate bill is Senator Stevens' bill. And I don't see Senator Stevens here, but in the interest of attempting to move this along, it's been sitting in here for a week or so. I'd just like to read it down through, see if there are any questions, and then ask unanimous consent to moving it ahead if that's the will of the body here. Basically, what this does, I'm reading on this is Senate Bill 481. Line 14 starts the provisions of the new subsection that says, notwithstanding any provision of the law to the contrary, a person on active military duty in the Armed Forces of the United States, that's active military duty in the Armed Forces of the United States, whose motor vehicles is registered in this state and has license plates from this state, and who is, as a result of his military duties or assignment, is required to reside in another state, may meet the requirements for minimum motor vehicle liability coverage by purchasing such coverage in the amounts equal to or greater than the minimum coverages required by Georgia law, and providing proof of such coverage to the department. In such case, the motor vehicle shall continue to be registered and licensed in the state as long as it otherwise meets the requirements of the law. Basically, what that bill is doing is saying if you're stationed in Texas and you have Georgia plates on your car and you've insured through a company out of the state here, you will meet the requirements of the other state. Is that right, Mr. Hooper? Okay. All right. And that's basically all the bill does. I mean, that's very simple. Yes, Mr. Murphy. I recognize Mr. Murphy.
At the proper time, I'd like to make a motion.
Is there any discussion on Senate Bill 481? All right. Recognize Mr. Sims.
I just wanted to ask the question. Is Mr. Hooper here? Okay, I didn't see you back there. How does this law go with the Soldier and Sailor Relief Act on active duty? Does this apply anything toward the Soldier and Sailor Relief Act? They can't prosecute. We can't prosecute anybody that's on active duty for certain things. Does this come under the same guidelines as the Soldier and Sailor Relief Act?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Douglas Hooper, Motor Vehicle Division of the Revenue Department. I am not sure what the applicability of the Soldiers and Sailors Relief Act would be in this case. To my knowledge, we provide for and apply that act to military members in the state of Georgia who are not residents. In other words, we grant them relief from the ad valorem tax on vehicles.
Right.
Right now, the issue before Georgia residents stationed in other states, as the chairman mentioned, that may be stationed in Texas. The Texas requirements for vehicle insurance may or may not be transmitted to Georgia, to the Georgia database. What this amendment will do in this bill is create an opportunity for these members to maintain their Texas insurance as required by the laws of those states, and Georgia accept it when we renew their registration on their vehicles.
Understand?
Yeah.
What, is this follow-up question on active duty for training? In other words, they get TDY, temporary active duty somewhere. They don't do a PCS, which is a permanent change of station, but they go TDY somewhere, like the National Training Center or the Joint National Training Center, Focus, somewhere like that. You know, they do for 8 or 6, 10, 12 week period of time. They go to Ranger School, Airborne School, go to Jungle School, whatever they may be doing.
Correct.
Is this all going to apply with those things too?
It would apply anytime someone is not in the state of Georgia and permanently, or I guess, assigned to a base outside of Georgia. I don't know if we would apply it, whether it would be temporary or permanent or not, because we have no way of judging whether it was a 6-month or 6-week or 6-year.
Let me try to explain this to you, because I was in the military a long time. An officer, let's just say an officer, if he goes to an advanced course, let's just say he goes to Fort Benning, he would be a resident of Georgia, but let's say he was artillery, he would go to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. He may be stationed at Fort Stewart and be a resident of Georgia, but he would go to Fort Sill for his advanced course. Or if he was going for, if an officer was going, or an enlisted person for that matter, going for his BNOC or ANOC advanced NCO training at a certain base, wherever it may be, they're only going to be there for 6, 8, 10 months, but it may run over the period of time when their birthday comes in and all this other stuff to renew tags and stuff. And there's no way he can get back and do that. I'm just saying, is this going to apply with those things too? Because if you're at the Army War College, or if you're at Leavenworth or Command and General Staff College, you're going to be there for a good period of time, even though you're going to be stationed permanently at another base.
We would recognize that if the requirement at that other base is they maintain vehicle insurance there, we would recognize it.
Mr. Sims, I'm going to let Mr. Murphy comment on that.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes, sir.
to just kind of put this thing in a nutshell, this bill, what this bill says is as long as they're outside of this state, assigned outside of this state in the military, then they will be exempt from their tags and all, right? Isn't that what this bill says?
I don't believe it exempts them from tags.
Not
or
exempts them,
registration.
but they don't have to renew them as long as they're outside of they get a permanent type renewal as long as they're outside of the state, right?
I read it as they're not required to provide the electronic insurance Georgia requires now.
Okay, but doesn't include the tags, right?
No, sir. I think they would be required. I think all bases would require them to have an active registration. The issue that this bill is
Within that
correct-
state?
Within
or-
that state, yes, sir. What this
Okay.
is trying to correct is the fact that another state's insurance requirements are not applicable in the state of Georgia.
Right.
We would accept that insurance of that other state during the period of time they were out.
But
When they come back to Georgia, they would then fall back under Georgia's full registration requirements, including Georgia electronic insurance.
so they would be, as long as they're outside the state, assigned someplace else, then that's what the bill is for, and they wouldn't have to, fall under the insurance statutes until they come back into the state and has set up residence in the state. Isn't
That
that
is
what
correct.
it does?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions for Mr. Hooper? Any discussion of the bill? Mr. Murphy, I recognize you for a motion.
Motion to pass.
Okay, motion do pass. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign? Okay, motion carries. Senator Grant, you are on deck with Senate Bill 523. And I'm going to express my apologies, and I'm going to head over to a Senate meeting right now to present one of my bills over there. So
Well, the
Mr.
reason
Dollar
I'm
is going
late
to...
is, today we're all having to multitask and be in many places.
Vice Chairman Dollar will gladly head the committee for in my absence.
Do you have
You
a
are aware
substitute?
that there is a substitute to your
Yes.
bill, and that you understand what that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're okay with Mr. Jones's amendments on there?
I have not seen
That's
those
the Bronze
amendments, but
Star.
if they're the ones that we were talking about yesterday,
Okay.
then I'm
But,
in
yeah,
agreement.
for the committee's,
The technical issues.
well, the technical issues are addressed, but I also decided that Mr. Jones's Bronze Star is about the same thing. And so we just, because it's in the same code sections for the expeditious nature of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'll
that's fine.
I'll be more than happy to accept that. That was another bill that we passed out of the Senate that we're all in favor of.
If there's any concern on this committee, Mr. Yates in particular, I'd like you to look at that section, but if there's any concern on this committee as to whether or not all the medal winners are recognized appropriately under the bill, then I would suggest that there would be an amendment process to take out that section that deals with that and just leave Mr. Grant's Gold Star in. But that would be my suggestion to the committee. And with that, Mr. Dollar.
Thank you.
You got the ball. Hold on a second. Thank you for all being here. This is probably our last meeting. I don't see another motor vehicle committee meeting this year. And I just want to thank you guys. You did a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. Do we
Go ahead,
want
Senator.
to go ahead?
Yes, sir.
All right. Senate Bill 523 originally started out with just providing recognition for Gold Star families. And I don't know if you're familiar with the tradition of the Gold Star mothers or families, but it began in World War I. And at that time, many families would put service flags up in their yards or on their house or in their place of business. And those white service flags often would have a blue star on them to represent the number of people from that home or that business that were in service. And then that later, when we did have some fatalities in the various theaters of action, a gold star would be placed on that blue star to represent someone who had made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. And we're recognizing that and recommending a license plate that would have that same sort of color scheme, the red fringe around the white flag with the blue star and the gold star superimposed on that blue star, to be used to designate those families who have lost some loved one, family member in a theater of conflict. This bill is as it came over to the House, Chairman Rice did notice some technical problems with it that he addressed with a committee substitute. And as we just commented, there was another bill that was very similar that was honoring a number of other medal winners, which included Bronze Star, Silver Star, Navy Cross, Distinguished Service Cross, and Air Medal. And that has been amended onto this in the committee substitute as well, and we are in favor of those, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of the committee members might have.
First.
Is any cost on this thing? Is this a regular license plate?
This would be a specialty license plate. What we are, and I'll have to look and see if any of this changed, but we suggested that the ad valorem taxes, all the taxes on the vehicle would be paid by the family, but the cost of the license plate, those special tag fees would actually be borne by the state, and this tag would be issued after the payment of all the ad valorem taxes, and all other taxes would be issued at no additional charge to those family members that would qualify.
But they wouldn't have to pay for the license plate itself?
They would not have to pay those special tag fees that are often associated with tags like this.
Should there be a statement on here about how much it's going to cost and so forth? Because as I mentioned when I was investigating another senator's bill about a Bronze Star, I know that my brother got a Bronze Star just by being a prisoner of war. He didn't have to do any meritorious duty act or whatever. I just wonder how many people got Bronze Stars. There was thousands and thousands of prisoners of war. So I just wonder if we shouldn't have something to show what it costs.
Well, in my original bill, with the Gold Star families, we felt like that that was going to be a very low cost to the state, almost a non-existent cost. There will be some cost because there have been some servicemen and women who have died in action. I understand what you're saying about the Bronze Star, and I was just trying to quickly read this because this was not part of my original bill to see if that same application applied. It does say one distinctive personalized license plate free of charge. No, sir, to my knowledge, there has not been any investigation into the cost of what that second Section 2 would be.
Do you have a follow-up?
Well, I don't know. I just, as I say, I didn't know this was coming up. I didn't study it, so I don't.
Well, we'll ask some more questions and you can
All right.
think about
But
it.
is it mixing two things here? Is it Gold Star? I know about that. My mother had 4 stars on hers, and for 4 of us in the service. But is that what decides whether you get the plate or not?
Section 1 deals with the Gold Star license plate, and in here it say 1 Gold Star license plate per eligible family member is free of charge after payment of all ad valorem taxes and other fees due at registration of a motor vehicle. And whether a service member is deemed to have been killed in action shall be determined by the classification of death as listed by the United States Department of Defense, and may be verified from documentation directly from the Department of Defense. So there will have to be some verification that a person is actually related in one of these ways that's spelled out earlier in the bill to a member that's been deceased, a service member that's been deceased, but that license plate would be issued free of charge after all those other ad valorem taxes and other registration fees and whatever necessary have been paid.
What's the definition of a family member?
Family member, let's see where it is.
It's on page 2, line 30.
Line 30. No.
That just says family member.
22.
Yes. In order to qualify as a family member, the person must be directly related to the fallen service member as a spouse or legal mother or father.
Okay.
Representative Sims?
Okay. Is there a reason that we didn't include the CMOH, or is there already included? That's the Medal of Honor.
The Medal of Honor already has a license plate.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
According to legislative council the other day, that was it.
And the Purple Heart already has.
Yes, Purple Heart did. It's very rare that you get a CMOH anyway.
I think from what someone relayed to me that there are actually 2 of those at current in Georgia.
One lives in Alma.
Let me just clarify a little bit of this in here. Now, the Gold Star license plate, when they get the license plate, it will have a gold star on it indicating one of these services up here. One of the awards: Silver Star, Bronze Star, Navy Cross.
That's part 2, section 2, and it says on line 27 of page 3, it says the commissioner is authorized and directed to design the license plate, establish procedures, and promulgate rules. So there has not been a design of that license plate that has been spelled out. I am assuming, and that's a dangerous thing to do up here in the Capitol, that there would be separate plates for the Silver Star, for the Bronze Star, for the Navy Cross, but I do not know if that's the case. That's something that is left to me in language to the commissioner and how that plate would be designed.
Okay, one follow-up, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hooper, what is the cost for the production of a license plate?
$1.68.
Okay. Thank you.
And if I may add, I think $1.68 is a small price that we can pay to honor those servicemen and women who either were awarded these honors or the family members who have lost a loved one.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Representative Powell.
Thank you. As I understand this, and I guess my comments are going to be made to the committee members. Over the years, we've, I think that anyone who's been on this committee long enough, that John and Bobby and some of y'all, we've saw the proliferation of the prestige tag bill. And truth is, this is probably one of the most political, good feeling things that could ever be done. And I certainly do support the concept of what Senator Grant is proposing, because there's probably nothing greater than for a family member to have given the ultimate sacrifice in defense of the country. But as I say, the amendment and all of this, at some point the members of this committee and future legislators are going to have to start taking a good look, as I see this proliferation of all of these metal tags here. That is, and even though the state only has $1.68 right now cost in the production of a tag, that will eat into the revenue stream, and I think that's the point that Representative Yates was making. That this is going to, at some point, as this proliferates, it's going to eat into the revenue stream. Second thing I'd like to say to the committee, and while I'm certainly not a lawyer, but I've been around long enough to know that, and I don't think we're going to have anyone that's going to do it, because it would be about as un-American as you could imagine, but the state constitution does not allow for gratuities. And these giving of free tags would certainly be construed as a gratuity. At some point, someone's going to pop to the front, and they're going to challenge this giving of free tags. And I think that nobody in their right mind would challenge giving a gold star tag. At some point with this proliferation, at what point someone will step forward and they're going to say that we give a free tag for the entryman's badge or for the good conduct medal. I mean, it looks to me like we're getting into an awful lot of tags with these amendments here that are being put to it. That being said, I don't think anyone's going to vote against it, because it's not a good political thing to be doing. But at some point, the committees and future legislatures, they're going to have to start considering these type of expanded giveaways of tags.
Thank you. I'm going to recognize Representative Paul.
Well, Mr. Chairman, what I think we're being a little bit unfair with the senator here. With it, this amendment that the substitute to the bill that he had brought forth, he didn't know anything about, and I did. The chairman has left, and do you have any knowledge of why he put this on?
I don't.
And we didn't.
But he was amenable to removing it if committee members were uncomfortable with it due to its late arrival, and I would certainly entertain motions to.
Well, at the proper time, I'd like to make a motion that we accept Senator Grant's bill as written.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, Representative Parham, I don't know if that would actually be appropriate, because as Chairman Rice had explained to me, there actually were some technical problems with my bill that I think he had worked out, and he had a substitute. So I think if we're going to make an amendment, it would be to drop out Section 2, and then the appropriate language in the preamble of the bill. But again, I'm not opposed to the Section 2 being included, but I think a lot of the questions that have arisen have come from Section 2. And I'm sorry, I just wasn't prepared to give you any more in-depth knowledge about Section 2.
Well, I have what Senator Yates, Senator, I promoted you, John. But he has a very legitimate claim against how much is this going to cost when we open up Bronze Star and above. I think he's right there. And if I was not for this, which I am for both of them, really, I'd ask for a physical note on the thing, but I wouldn't. I'm not going to do that. But
One moment. Representative Murphy.
I just want to say a little something about what Representative Powell said a while ago. These license plates are free gratis, but in my estimation, when you give up something free, if you just totally give it to somebody for them not doing anything, then it's free. That's free gratis. I think this license plate is being given not free for them not doing something. It's being given because they did do something. They did give their lives in defense of our country. So it's not free gratis. It's being given because they defended our country. And I don't think we could. And I think in a court of law, you'd probably say that they gave everything they could give. And I believe they would probably win on that. I just want to make that comment.
Do any other members have any questions? Yeah.
So if we take out Section 2, then all we have is Gold Star.
Yes, sir. There's a little language in lines 1 through 8. Actually, less than that. It would be in lines 4 through 6, I guess, that would have to be taken out. And I haven't tried to see exactly where the right break would be, but there would be some lines in the preamble that would have to be removed.
You're reading from the original bill?
No, I'm reading from the substitute.
Okay.
Section 2.
Let's see if I've got a copy of the original bill here. I don't seem to have a copy of the original bill with me. But it's just the language that says to provide for a free distinctive license plate for recipients of the Silver Star, Bronze Star, Navy Cross, Distinguished Service Cross, or the Air Medal. And I think those words, which come in lines 4 through the beginning of line 6, if those are dropped out, I think that we would be back to the original language. Yeah, if you'll start on line 4 after action and remove to provide for a free distinctive license plate for recipients of the Silver Star, the Navy Cross, the Distinguished Service Cross, or the Air Medal, and stop at that semicolon. If you'll remove that phrase, that takes us back to the original act if Section 2 is dropped out in its entirety.
Okay, it's the chair's understanding that to amend it, we would not have to strike any preamble language, just code section.
Okay.
Any more questions from the members? I thought so. Yes.
Wouldn't you want to strike? Is there anything wrong with striking all of Section 2?
That's what we're
No, that's what I
Yeah,
said.
okay.
Strike all of
All right.
Section 2.
If there's no more questions, we'll entertain a motion.
Okay.
Okay, we have a due pass. We have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Now, do we have any amendments?
Do pass without Section 2, is that it?
No, this is a due pass as a substitute. Now, if you want to amend the substitute, now would be the proper time.
Yeah, I move that we take out Section 2 from the substitute bill.
Okay. We have a
Remove that.
We have a motion to amend it to remove Section 2 from the substitute. Do we have a second?
I'll second it. I'm assuming, does that take care of your problem, Senator?
Okay.
That puts it back to original Gold Star.
Okay, before we take a vote, I think we have a clarification from Mr. Hooper. Yes.
Well, you can take the podium if you'd like.
Clarification, please, on page 1, line 15, where it states July 1st, 2007. Page 2, line 15, where it states January 1st, 2007. Consistency of the dates of the implementation of the Gold Star license plate.
Yeah.
It's July, then.
Excuse me,
It needs to be July, both of them need to be July.
July or January.
But they need at least that long to print them.
January.
No, July.
We'll get to where you want to go. For
July.
the sake of the committee, we'll get to where you want to go.
July of 08 or what?
July of '07.
July of 07. Both of them need to be July of 07.
Yes, sir. I think so.
Okay. The chair will make that motion for that change. Do I have a second?
I do.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that passes.
Would you like to amend the preamble of this to take that language out?
Yeah, we'll now, I'm sorry, that was actually out of order. We'll come back and address that. Right now, we have on the table the amendment to remove Section 2.
I'd like to move that we amend on preamble page 1, line 4, after the semicolon, strike to provide that language all the way down to line 6 at the semicolon middle. That takes out all of those miscellaneous metals.
Okay.
Gives more preponderance to the
Okay,
Gold Star.
this is just in an abundance of caution, or to perhaps make it cleaner, to remove after action on line 4, semicolon to provide, going all the way to line 6, where it says metal and semicolon. This is essentially removing in the preamble what Section 2 covers. So we have a motion to remove the preamble language and Section 2, and we have a second.
I want to amend the amendment.
Okay, you want to further amend the amendment?
I just want to remove this bronze star, leave the rest, and then leave it all back in.
Okay.
In other words, just take the bronze star out, and I think that's going to be the one that causes the most problems anyway. Leave Silver Star, Navy Cross, Distinguished Service Cross, and Air Medal. Understand that those are the second highest awarded. Those are all for valor. They will none of those will be awarded for anything but valor. Most of those are awarded posthumously anyway. And I think that the Silver Star, Bronze Star, Navy Cross, and Distinguished Service Cross, and Air Medal, all of those recipients are eligible for burial at Arlington National Cemetery. They're all heroes. I think we need to leave those in. The Bronze Star is not a requirement there. Just remove the Bronze Star.
Okay, this is getting a little out of hand here. We have a motion on the table. You have, do we have a second to further amend the amendment by Representative Sims and leaving all the other tags minus the Bronze Star?
I just got a question.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Is it, if we take out Section 2, that's leaving out what you just proposed, isn't
And
it?
I was going to leave it in, just take out Bronze Star.
But we've already taken out Section 2, haven't we?
No, we haven't voted on that.
I think you're incorrect. I checked out on a Silver Star. You have to have a Silver Star or higher to be buried in Arlington, but that's not anything to do with the bill. But
I understand. But Bronze Stars are not. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that Silver, the Naval Cross, DSC, and Air Medal are all the second highest. The Air Force's Air Medal is the highest. Second highest, the DSC, Navy Cross, and the Silver Star are all second highest.
We're getting back into the same discussion we had, though. It's going to be very, very costly, and there's no fiscal note here.
I think we know what we're going to do here. Do we have a second to that amendment? To Representative Sims? If not, then we are voting on the amendment to remove Section 2 and the corresponding language in the preamble. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We are now on the bill. We are now on the substitute as amended. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion, a second? Second. Okay. On the motion to carry substitute SB 523 as amended, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? All right, passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, I believe now we have SB 583 by Senator Douglas, which is, I believe, another specialty tag bill. I'll give the members a moment to look that over.
You say 583 or 538?
538, thank you. Do we have any questions? Representative Yates?
Well, I heard Mr. Rice tell Senator Douglas they had an agreement he had to leave and go somewhere, and I guess that Mr. Rice was figuring on speaking up on this bill, I think.
The chairman had communicated to me that he didn't have any problems with these tags, and that to just allow members a moment to look over them.
Okay.
And if they had any questions, then they could pose them to me.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
On the tags, are we gonna bundle these things like we did our other tags? And go ahead and try to pass them out? I mean, it seems to me that, you know, if you have to go tag after tag after tag up there, I'm not trying to.
The Senate handled it a little bit differently than the House did, and they just did it tag by tag. We tried to incorporate as many Senate tags.
I know, but can
indoors.
we bundle them up here in a committee sub, take all these tags and put them in one and be done with it? I mean, they always run those on uncontested.
Well, this is the last committee meeting, and we only have 3 left, so I think that we could address all these individually, since they're all doing essentially the same thing.
Okay, I mean, I'm just trying to save time for somebody trying to go up there and carry bills on the last day. And I've been here a long time, so.
And it's also possible that our House bill will be changed in the Senate, and it'll end up in conference anyway, and it'll happen
We
there.
just put it all on conference.
That's a possibility, Mr. Sims.
I'm just trying to save time.
Yeah, and I understand that, but at this point, the chair would just like to pass all these out as they are. Senate Bill 538. It's a rather simple tag bill. Do I have a motion?
Motion to pass.
Okay, we have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next on the list, we have Senate Bill 539, also by Senator Douglas. Almost identical. Do we have a motion?
Move.
Move. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. That one got pulled? Okay, 620 was pulled. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe that's all the business we have. That being said, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.